It's time for the Hannah Brown Cooking Show. It's time for the Hannah Brown Cooking Show. It's time for the Hannah Brown Cooking Show because she's a really good cook.
Hi, I'm Hannah Brown and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to make a fish fried tofu, and it's a pretty easy recipe. It's actually really similar to how you make regular fried fish. So I'm going to walk you through that today. And these are the ingredients that you're going to need. For the marinade, you'll need olive oil, mustard. I have like just a very simple, cheap yellow mustard here, but you can use whatever you want. A Dijon probably would be really good. And we have the Tony Chachere, which is a classic kind of Creole seasoning that's really good on anything, particularly if you want something to have a little bit of a kick to it. And some lemon and garlic. And then we're going to bread it in a cornmeal, which you could also use flour if you wanted to, and then fry it in peanut oil. So that's the basic setup for today. I've made this before and I was really happy with it. It gets crispy and delicious, and it's got a great texture to it as well. So let's get started. Seasoning and garlic, and lemon. And we put it all in a blender and mixed it together. And now we are going to make the breading for the tofu fish. The breading is going to be primarily cornmeal, but like I said earlier, you can use flour or you could use a mixture of cornmeal and flour. It's really about what you want the texture on the outside to be like. With cornmeal, it's going to be a little bit grittier. With flour, it'll be kind of more of an even coating. But cornmeal is kind of a classic fried fish coating. So that's why I like to use it with the tofu, because it makes you really feel like you're eating fish even if you're not. For the cornmeal, you can add some seasonings in there, or the flour, whichever you want to use. And it's up to you what seasonings you want to use. I'm using garlic powder, paprika, and salt. And this is just going to kind of give another layer to what's going to be marinating in the tofu. So this will be what you taste on the breading of the fried fillets. So go ahead and grab yourself a plate, get your cornmeal flour, and just put enough on there to coat it. You can always make more of this. It's not like something that needs to sit or cook. So, I like to do a hefty version so I don't have to keep doing it, but just remember you're adding seasonings to it. You don't want to waste a lot of seasonings. And then you're going to add garlic powder. So sprinkle, about a teaspoon in. Same with paprika, and then salt. If there's any other seasonings you really want to put in there, you can go ahead and do that. Experiment with it. Let me know what seasonings you try and what works best. So now we're going to batter up some of the fillets. Here's an example of what they end up looking like when you've done it. But what you're going to do is take one of your tofu fillets from your marinade and then just plop it right in your cornmeal. And then you can just kind of, pick it up and it back down until it has a nice coating on it. This cornmeal has a really fine grit to it, so it's not as gritty as some of the other ones, and it's actually kind of nice because of that. But it's gonna fall differently and look a little differently depending on how thick your cornmeal grain is, and whether you use any flour or not. What you can do is get a few of them ready, because you're not going to be able to fry them all at the same time unless you have a huge, enormous pan. So just get a few ready, and then you can keep doing it as you go. It's really easy to do it, and then just throw it right in the fryer. So now what we're going to do is start frying up the fillets. What we're going to do is use peanut oil, because peanut oil has a higher smoke point, so it can get hotter and fry faster without just smoking all over the place. I'm sure that's happened to you. It's happened to me. So we are about out of our peanut oil here, but we have enough left to do this. I like to start about a medium to high temperature, but make sure you turn it down to medium pretty quick or it will get nasty. So now we're going to put a piece of tofu in the oil to see if it's hot enough. There are some little bubbles forming around the sides of it, and that looks like it's just about ready. So I'm going to give it just a few more seconds, and then I'm going to start putting a few fillets in there. The thing is that you want it to fry hot and fast. They're done and we pulled them out. If you take a look at it, it's got a nice texture. It held together really well. It has this golden brown outer crunchy layer. It looks just like fried fish. To me it looks like catfish. You know how sometimes they chunk it up in kind of rectangular square pieces like that? So I think it really could fool people. And when you taste it, it doesn't even matter if it's supposed to be fish or not anymore. It's delicious. This is a completely vegan recipe. You don't need eggs or anything else like that. And it's really delightful. It's very southern, and it's good for a party because you can fry up a lot at once. It's real cheap and people love it.